Hello students. So far we studied addition rules and multiplication rules separately. But today we will find a way that combines addition and multiplication, and that beautiful rule is known as distributive property. Alright, we will find this rule by counting the number of little squares over here in two ways. Alright, so the first way we can count these dark little squares over here and white little squares over here, and then we will add these to find the total number of little squares. Okay, on the other hand, if I combine these two pictures to make a larger rectangle as shown on your screen, and counting the little squares over here, at the end we will have the same number of little squares, and the beautiful rule that will work is called distributive property. Okay, I will suggest to just pause the video and try to find yourself, and then we find it together. Okay, let's start over here. You can see the dark little squares over here. The dark little squares over here are 2 times 3 because 2 rows and each row has 3 little squares, and the white little squares over here are 2 times 4 because 2 rows and each row has 4 little squares. So the total number of dark little squares and white little squares are the sum of these two expressions, that is 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4. Okay, on the other hand, we count the little squares over here, and you can see here are 3 plus 4 columns. You can see because 3 dark columns and 4 white columns, and there are 2 rows, so I will multiply it with 2, so 2 times 3 plus 4. Okay, so this is the second way to count the little squares in the larger rectangle. Okay, now in the both cases you can see the number of little squares are exactly the same, so this expression must be equal to this expression 2 times 3 plus 4. Okay, you can also see here are 2 rows, so we will multiply it with 2, and each row has 3 plus 4 squares, 3 dark squares and 4 little squares. Okay, now this is nothing special with 2, 3 and 4. This can work for any numbers a, b, c, so I can use variables here. So I will write it a times b plus a times c, and this is equal to a times b plus c. So this nice and beautiful result is known as distributive property. Okay, so distributive property tells us we can count the number of little squares over here in two ways. Okay, so the distributive property doesn't work only for the 3 numbers, it may work for the more than 3 numbers. Like if I multiply, let's say 5 with a plus b plus c plus d, so I can apply my distributive property to expand this. I will multiply 5 with a first, I will multiply with 5a, and then with b, then with c, and then with d, and I will use my distributive property to expand this product. So I can write it 5 times a will be 5a plus 5 times b will be 5b, and 5 times c will be 5c, and 5 times d will be 5d. So I applied my distributive property to expand this product. So this is sometimes called expansion. So on the other hand, I can use my distributive property to find the product of different numbers. So as I told in the start, the distributive property that combines addition and multiplication. Okay, so I'm giving you a question to solve which has both multiplication and addition over here. You can see 17 multiplied by 13 plus 51 multiplied with 13 and plus 33 multiplied with 13, and you have to find this expression. Okay, so it will take a lot of time if you solve it, like multiply first 17 with 13 and then 51 with 13 and then 13 with 13 and then finding the sum. It will take a lot of time. Okay, but you can use your distributive property over here. You can see here 13 is in each expression, and you can just factor out 13, as you can write 13 once outside these parentheses and will multiply by the rest of the numbers, that is 17 plus 51 plus 33. Okay, and here you can apply your associative property of addition. If you add 17 with 51, it may take time to think, but if you add 17 with 33, it will take no time because it is a 50, and 50 plus 51 associative property tells us we can add numbers in any order. So 17 plus 33 is 50, and 50 plus 51 is 101. So I can write it 30 times 101. Now again we can apply our distributive property by writing 101 as 100 plus 1. Okay, now I will apply a distributive property to expand my product. Okay, so you can write 13 will multiply with 100, and then this 13 will multiply with the 1. So it can be written as 13 times 100 plus 13 times 1. So 13 times 100 is easy to calculate, that is 1300 plus 13, which is 1313 is your final answer. Okay, now I am giving you some question that you have to solve by yourself and have to answer it in the comments. And these questions are the special one because you have to compute these question in your head. You will not write to calculate this question, but if you are unable to compute these question in your head, then you can solve this question on your notebook. Okay, the first one is you have to compute in your head 2005 plus 2005 and multiplying with 2005 minus 2005. The second one is 1990 multiplying with 1991. This is the dot which is multiplication sign here, and minus 1989 multiplying with 1990. Okay, and the third one and the last one is you have to compute all of these three questions in your head. So 998 multiplying with 3. Answer this question in the comment, and we will see you in the next class. Okay, take care.